information here at 6. Fargo police have arrested the homeless man they were looking for, 36-year-old Timothy Wendells. He was wanted as a person of interest in felony-level tampering with public infrastructure and criminal mischief. Midco says he cut fiber infrastructure, affecting people's internet. We'll hear from some of those people affected tonight at 10. If you have any information or were affected, call the Red River Regional Dispatch Center or file a report with Fargo Police.